Hey there guys, it's Tina and I'm back and I hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe. If you're also back, welcome back to the I'm Back crew. How's it going? Say hi to the family for me. But if you're new and maybe you like what you see, please consider subscribing. We have tons of fun here on this channel talking about makeup and all things beauty. And one of the things we like to do on this channel is try out new makeup, specifically new foundations. I love complexion products. Give me a foundation, give me a concealer, I'm all over it because I love trying different formulas, seeing what's out there, seeing what's new and different, seeing if someone can wow me when it comes to foundations because I've tried so many. And this time around, we're trying the new foundation from About Face. This is the Performer Skin Focused Foundation. I grabbed this off the About Face website when it originally launched. I picked up 2 shades. It's also available in store at Ulta, so you can try it out there, try to get a shade match. But there is a shade match quiz on the About Face website, and I'll walk you through that during the video. But that's what we're talking about today. So if you want to hear my thoughts, see a demonstration, see up close swatches, see the check-ins on oily skin, then let's go ahead and jump right into it. Are you guys excited? Because I am high-key excited about this foundation. So again, this is from About Face. It is the Performer Skin Focused Foundation. It retails for $22 and is available in 45 shades. It contains 32 milliliters of product, which is slightly more than the typical 1 ounce or 30 milliliters that we see from foundations on the market. So you're getting a little bit more bang for your buck. And it's only $22. It is available for sale at Ulta and on the About Face website, which is where I grabbed mine. And I grabbed 2 shades out of the 45 that are available. And there are various different undertones and depth levels to this foundation. So let's read a little bit more about the foundation, and then we will talk about the shade range. So it says, breaking the norm, center stage skin. This cushiony formula is packed with 17 plus skincare ingredients to maintain moisture, help even plus smooth skin with every wear. Our Skin First Hybrid Foundation is buildable, breathable, and wearable for up to 12 hours. With cake-free seamless feel and a natural soft focus finish, no matter your ideal level of coverage. Optimizing your skin with each wear. Where other foundations leave you wanting, the Performer is made for everyday wear that won't compromise your skin. A moves with you, never more comfortable skin supporting swipe. Available again in 45 multifaceted shades to match all skin tones. So the highlighted ingredients are blue agave, which is known to hydrate and plump skin, and this falls under their smoothing ingredient. We have wintergreen, which is known to calm blemishes, so this is under their balancing ingredient. And then under the revitalize category, we have chlorella, which is filled with vitamins known to energize skin. It comes in a modular bottle with a large doe foot applicator. It is a square shaped bottle with the About Face logo in silver, and then on the side it says the Performer Skin Focus Foundation. On the bottom we have a square silver label with the shade name and number, and again it does say Performer and gives the size and details. You can also peel that label back for additional information on the foundation. You unscrew the cap so it's not a pop-off cap to reveal the doe foot applicator, which is oversized and it is a little bit angled like a finger. It is rounded and I love the size and shape of the applicator. I don't think I've used a doe foot applicator for a foundation, definitely for concealers. So it's almost like using an oversized concealer, which I'm not against. Like, I want to try this out and see how it compares to like just a pump bottle if I find it easier to use. And just looking at the overall design of this component, I think it's a great modern take on a foundation bottle. It feels sleek in the hands. It's weighted so it doesn't feel like some cheap plasticky bottle. And this is also going to be great for travel since it's housed in plastic rather than glass, so it's not prone to breakage. Just keep this away from direct sunlight and any heat sources. Since, you know, it's exposed, it's a clear bottle, so you can age the product if it's in direct heat or sunlight. which I thought I would just bring up now. I've never truly mentioned that before, but keep your foundation and liquid and cream products away from direct sunlight, just to extend the lifespan of the product, which for this one, we have an intended usage life of 12 months. It also says it's vegan, cruelty-free, non-comedogenic, and non-acnegenic. In a consumer study of 30 subjects, performers showed a significant decrease in sebum after 8 hours of wear. I am interested in this, okay? So you're gonna control oil? I need it all over my face. Looking through the ingredient list, the main ingredient is water. Then we have cocoa caprylate or caprate, which I believe is a coconut oil derivative. So if you have any issues with coconut oil in products, just be mindful that is the second ingredient. There's also glycerin. It also has that wintergreen leaf extract that was mentioned as one of the key ingredients, along with the chlorella. Hold on now. Sorokiniana extract. Never heard of that ingredient before. So they're definitely including some of those skincare ingredients to help benefit the skin, which I am all about. I want to read the box itself to see if it says anything else. So it says coverage meets skincare in the skin optimizing foundation formulated with powerful ingredients like blue agave, wintergreen, plus chlorella, known to help hydrate, balance, and smooth the skin. Buildable, breathable, medium coverage delivers a longwear second skin finish. So medium coverage, second skin finish, which I'm going to assume is a natural finish. It doesn't tout itself as matte or anything. Now, before we get into the actual application and wear test, let's talk about the shade range. So they have 45 shades available with various undertones. So we have cool undertone, warm undertones, olive undertones, as well as neutral undertones. So you will have to navigate the shade range to figure out where you best fit. But if you need help finding your shade, you can use the shade finder quiz on the About Face website, which walks you through the different shades available and undertones in the shade range so you can best match your skin tone. And it starts out with the shade family for your skin tone, and there are 7 options available under this, which I actually like seeing that breakdown. So it starts with fair, it moves to light, light medium, then medium, then we have medium deep, deep, and then rich deep. And then once you choose your shade family, it gives you a couple of options to select which shade range would fit your skin tone best. So you look through the photos and pick out one that matches. And I can go between medium and deep just based on these photos. So I just click deeper, right? The next step is to select your skin undertone. And the undertones go from cool, which is pink, red, or bluish tones, to peach, which they categorize as neutral tones with a bit of orange and tan. Then we have neutral, which is a mix of both warm and cool undertones, which is kind of where I lie. We also have olive, which I love seeing olive in a shade range. That warms my heart because that's truly where I lie. Olive is neutral with a touch of golden green warmth. Kind of me, you know? And then we have warm, which is yellow with golden undertones. So you would just select which one works best. And I will usually go with a neutral undertone or an olive shade. Preferably, if it says golden olive, then I am set. And like I said, I am like a medium deep. So I picked up 2 shades for myself to try out. I picked up MD2, so that's medium deep, level 2 with an olive undertone. And then I also grabbed D1 olive, so deep level 1 with an olive undertone. So that is how you navigate the shade range. If you have any doubt, you can check this out at certain Ulta locations. So I was able to pick these up on the About Face website, sight unseen. But once I saw the shade range in Ulta and swatched them out, I was like, absolutely, I made the right decision with these shades. So remember, the shade is gonna start out with your shade family or the depth. So if you're rich, deep, if you're deep, medium, light, fair, right? Then you'll have the level as a number. So those depths range from 0 to 4, with 0 being the lightest level in a shade family, and then 4 being the deepest shade. So we have the deepest shade in the lineup is RD3 Cool, which is a rich deep shade family at level 3 depth with a cool undertone. Does that make any sense to you? I hope it does. Enough yapping. Let's go ahead and apply these so you can see what I mean from the shades that I picked up. All right, let's demonstrate this. So let's come in. Here's my skin up close and personal. Hi, how are you? So I have oily skin. I sometimes say oily combination because some parts of my skin are mostly normal. But honestly, I get oily pretty much everywhere. So I consider myself to have an oily skin type. And I have golden neutral undertones, sometimes a little bit of olive. So if you look at my skin, right, it looks pretty much golden, but there's a little bit of green hue to it, which is why I usually wear neutral, because I have that mix of cool and also warm undertones. But if I'm truly looking for a perfect shade match, it's going to be a golden olive, because I have golden undertones, but there's a little bit of neutral peeking through, so it's mostly a neutral olive golden undertone. I just confused you because I'm confused as well when I get shade matched. Anyway, I tend to pick my correct shade, and I think I did in this case. So let's go in and swatch these on my face. You've already seen them swatched out on my arm, but my arm is usually lighter than my actual face. So let's go ahead and swatch these on my face to see which one we're going to use. So let's go in with the MD2 Olive. So boom. This applicator is so funny. It's a stiffer applicator, so it's not really spongy or anything. That's MD2, so I think I'm gonna be the D1 Olive. It may be between those two because the D1 looks too dark and then the MD2 is a little bit too light. So there's an MD2 neutral and then an MD3 warm. Maybe the warm could be my skin tone match, but honestly, when I swatched it in store, it looked too orange, just way too warm for me. So I'm gonna stick with these two shades. Should we blend them out so you can get an idea of what they look like individually before we kind of mix them? Yeah, let's do that. So let's blend out the MD2 first. You know, that could work, right? Once it's blended out, it looks like it could be my skin tone. Like, it blended in pretty seamlessly, right? I think so. You can definitely see that olive undertone. All right, let's do the D1, which also looks like it could be my match. So these two shades, definitely, with the D1 obviously being richer. I feel like I could mix the two shades and be fine, but even individually, they seem fine as well. All right, you know what? Let's try out, I'm gonna, you know what? Like, maybe if it oxidizes, I wanna go with the lighter shade. So let's do this. Let's go in with the MD2 Olive on the inner part of my face. So I'm just gonna apply it directly from the applicator. Now, I will say, people are going to be apprehensive about dipping this back into the tube, you know? They're gonna be like, oh, that's gonna cause contamination and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I don't worry about that so much. I haven't had an issue with any of my concealers, so I don't think it's gonna be an issue for the foundation. But if you're a little bit leery about that, just apply the sponge applicator on a palette, on the back of your hand. However you want to apply it, go for it. But as far as I'm concerned, there are preservatives in the formula that should ward off any bacterial growth. So I don't worry about that too much. All right, I'm going to go in with a clean foundation brush. I might have applied too much. Let's take these earrings out and go to work. Maybe that's too much, but let's see how this blends out. Okay, so it's more of a thin formula. It's not thick and creamy, which, what is that? Is that the scent of the product? I don't know what that smell is. It's a very natural scent. It doesn't smell chemically. It smells like plants, like it's plant-based. Does it say? Yeah, it does say it's vegan. So maybe it is that plant-based. Or is it the coconut oil? Interesting. Interesting. Anyway, let's keep blending this out. It definitely blends out easily, and it's given me, you'll see, more of a medium coverage for sure. Right away, I'm getting the coverage. It's not blanking out my skin, so it's not like full coverage or even a full medium. But I'm definitely covering some of my hyperpigmentation and evening out my skin tone, which I appreciate. So if you saw my skin before, right, which I showed you, I have hyperpigmentation around my mouth. I have some unevenness. I even have like freckles, you know, tiny little baby freckles, and then enlarged pores around my nose area. And this applied pretty well. It's not accentuating any of my problem spots, but it's also not smoothing. I don't feel like it's smoothing my skin out. It doesn't look bad. It looks very natural, which is what they said, right? A skin-like finish. Ooh, let me turn this light down a bit. How about now? How does it look? I feel like with the lights turned down, the skin tone match is matching. It looks good. It definitely is a medium coverage though. It's not heavy duty or anything, which I can appreciate. I can definitely appreciate. And it feels lightweight, like I'm not feeling it on my skin, which is a good thing. Let me go in with a little bit of the D1 shade just to see how it builds up. I'm not gonna apply too much. I'm not gonna re-dip. I'm just gonna use the one dip and go with it. Okay, let's blend her out. You can definitely see the olive undertone in the formula, and that looks nice. Yeah, I prefer the D1 shade. And mind you, it's winter time. I have lightened up a little bit because my regular foundations look deeper on my skin tone right now, which is weird because I've been on vacation, so, well, I wasn't really out in the sun, so I shouldn't say that. I thought I would get more of a tan. I definitely got like a driver's tan. You know that tan you get from wearing a watch and driving, so your hand is kind of in the sun? Yeah, I got that tan, but my face apparently has not hit the sun, which I stay out of the sun anyway. Yeah, I prefer the D1 shade match. I feel like it's better, but the MD2 isn't bad either. All right, I like that actually. You know what? Turn the light up. There we go. This is beautiful. It's a very natural finish, bordering on glowy. It is definitely not matte, not natural matte, and it's not what I want for my life, but it looks very healthy. It looks nice. Wow. And I just tried the Prada foundation, which had a very natural look to it. It was definitely like a second skin finish. It just looked like my skin, but a little bit more hydrated. I wouldn't say better, but just a little bit more hydrated. This one to me looks like my skin, but better, because I look hydrated as hell, but I got coverage as well. So it did even out my complexion, and I think it looks really pretty. But I need a little bit of concealer, so I will go in with my new Fenty concealer. I've been using this concealer in all my makeup looks lately because it's new and I like it. The shade I find to be the best match is 400N, which is kind of my perfect skin tone match. So I'll just apply that under the eyes, blend her out, because this is not full coverage and it definitely didn't cancel out my dark under eyes, which I don't expect it to. This should only be for my face, and then the concealer does the heavy lifting. But, ooh, look, it blended so well with this foundation. Yes! Now I'm gonna go in with powder, because there's no way No way in hell I'm gonna go out looking this glowy. Some of y'all might like this look. I'm not some of y'all, so I'm gonna set everything with my Kosas Cloud Set Powder. This is a great powder for setting foundation if you still want your natural skin to peek through. It does mattify. It removes some of the shine, but it doesn't mattify as in change the way the foundation wears necessarily. So we're gonna see if this foundation does have that 12-hour of wear. We're not gonna wear it for 12 hours, but within a few hours we'll be able to tell. And it says it controls sebum, so we'll see that too. So boom, 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 light dusting of this powder. I did not cake it on, and it doesn't add coverage either. There we go. I think we're off to a good start. So I'm gonna go ahead, finish up my face. It is now 4:04, so we'll mark it as 4 o'clock. Let me go ahead and do my mascara and all that and be back to show you what my face looks like, give you that check-in inside, then we're gonna run out and show you outdoors, and then we'll do a later check-in. All right, guys, I am back, and all I did was change my shirt, pop on some lip gloss and some lashes and a little bit of blush on my cheeks. I just went in lightly with my Dior blush in the shade, I'll tell you right now, number 12 Rosewood, which is a really beautiful neutral blush. But that's all I did. I haven't touched up my face or anything. And here's the first check-in, right? It is now 4:33, so 30 minutes later. This is how we're looking. I think the overall finish of this foundation is very natural, as I mentioned before, but we did go in with powder, and I think it looks great. I got just enough coverage with my added concealer under my eyes. My skin looks very natural. It looks great. It's not heavy, it's not cakey. There's not necessarily any smoothing that I can see, but it didn't accentuate any of my pores, so it didn't settle in and make them look larger. So here you go. All right, should we go outside and show you what it looks like in natural daylight? I think we should, and then we're going to do a check-in. All right, so here's our check-in in natural daylight, and the sun is kind of directly on my face right now, so you can get all my sins showing up. My skin looks good. It looks very natural. I do have enlarged pores. You're gonna see it front facing camera on an iPhone. You know how that is. But I think the foundation looks really nice. My skin looks really nice. It looks glowy, and I hope the wind, oh my God, is the wind really bad? I'm sorry, but this is what the foundation looks like in natural daylight. Again, I think the match is really great, and it looks seamless on my skin. It looks like natural skin with a little bit of added perfection and a garbage can. But here you have it. Hey guys, so it's time for a check-in. It's 8:15, so we've had this foundation on for over 4 hours now, and I haven't touched up. I haven't touched my skin, nothing, okay? So this is 4 hours of wear. I'm gonna tell you right now, it is looking good, except for my T-zone around my nose. Oily, right? But it doesn't look terrible, and like the foundation hasn't started to separate or anything. It's not settling into lines. It still looks good. I just look shiny in the usual places I would be shiny, right? My nose gets very oily. No foundation holds up to that. And considering that I haven't used a primer, I am kind of impressed that it's not shinier than it is. My forehead looks like I just applied the foundation. No creasing. My cheeks look good. What? And let me tell you right now, outside in natural daylight, it looks good. Inside stores, like I went to Ulta, I went to do a pickup order. I looked good, like the in-store lighting looked great. And in my car, I looked great. I was like, what? Wait a minute. So I am happy with how this is looking. Normally at this point in wear, I would blot, right? So having a greasier nose right now is not a big deal for me. 4 hours in, I would just blot and carry on with my day. but we're gonna just let it sit. I'm not gonna touch up. I'm just gonna let it happen. I'm gonna eat my dinner, so if the mouth area looks a little bit different, that's why I'm going to eat. But we're gonna give it a couple more hours to see how it fares, right? I don't know how long I'm gonna stay up, but here we have it. 4 hours in, over 4 hours, and it's wearing really well. No primer, no moisturizer, just foundation. And it seems to be maintaining. Yeah, it is holding its own against my sebum. So I'll see you guys in another couple of hours. All right, final check-in, guys, because I'm about burnt out. It is 10:27, call it 10:30. And we're still going. I am not built for staying up later than this without washing my face. So that's what I'm going to do. But I will say, this is about when I would say, call it, we're gonna blot. Definitely this foundation has done its time. And I think it did a pretty good job so far. So 10:30 means we are 6.5 hours in, right? No primer, light dusting of powder, and here we are. I went outside, I was in the sun, I ran some errands, I was out and about, right? So it wasn't like I was sitting still all day, and it still looks pretty good. Let's come in so you can see. Again, look at my forehead, which, come on. If I blotted my forehead right now, let me turn down the light because I feel like the light, when it's dim, shows a little bit more. All right, there you have it. Do you see my forehead? No creasing, no lines at all. Even between my brows, which I do this a lot, still nothing. Well, I mean, I guess I did create a little line just now, but for 6.5 hours, you see where the wear is, right? Around my nose area, which, let me tell you, nothing saves me there. Around my mouth, I have, listen, I was eating. Hopefully nothing is in my teeth. So, around my mouth, yeah, a little wear. But like, even look at my cheek. Look at this cheek. Right? I'm telling you, this foundation looks good. So we're gonna call it, and I'm going to say, so far so good. Let's blot and see what the result would be if we did blot. There is transfer. It didn't claim to be transfer proof, which is kind of what I admire about this foundation. There were no exorbitant claims. There was no transfer resistant, waterproof, 24-hour wear, you know, all that. It didn't say any of that. It just said, hey, 12 hours of wear. We have some skincare ingredients. Your skin's gonna feel great. You're gonna be fine. And there's a little bit of sebum control. And I feel like I experienced the sebum control because my skin usually produces a lot more oil than this. But I feel like some of that was reduced, almost minimized. Right? And blotting, I know, I took the earrings off. It's the whole situation, all right? I'm ready to go to bed. But all in all, I think the wear time on this was great. They do say 12 hours of wear. That's not going to happen for me. Tell you right now, it's not going to happen. But for 6.5 hours, I can call it. And what I'm going to do is wear this a couple more times before I come back with my final thoughts. I'm gonna save this sweater and wear it for the outro so you won't even be able to tell the difference. The makeup will look different. However, I'm just saying, all right, I'm gonna test it out some more because I feel like it's worth testing out some more, especially with a primer. So I'm gonna do like my full routine with a primer, the whole works, and then report back with my final thoughts. So that's gonna end it for the wear test. So let's go ahead now and finish up, which is gonna be a few days later, with my final thoughts. All right, so different day, different hair, but same shirt. So we are back to give you my final thoughts after wearing this foundation for a couple of additional days just to test it out with different primers, different brushes, and see how it fares over time and how my skin feels. And I am now confidently ready to give you my final thoughts, starting off with the price point. This foundation retails for $22, which I think is actually a great price point for this brand. It is not quite drugstore, but it hasn't made its way to mid or high end as yet. And $22 to me is a manageable price point. It's more expensive than drugstore foundations, but it's still very close to some drugstore foundations that can retail for $20. So $22 I think is a great price point. Plus, you get more product than the average foundation on the market. So instead of that typical 1 fluid ounce 30 milliliters, you're getting 32 milliliters or 1.08 fluid ounce. So you're getting a little bit more product for that price point. I don't think you can beat it, and you may be able to get it on sale and get a discount. So $22, great price point. As far as the packaging goes, I think this is sleek and modern. It fits in with the aesthetic of the brand. I love the gunmetal cap. I love the square shaped packaging. I just love how it feels in the hands. And the doe foot applicator, I also kind of appreciate. We usually see foundations with a pump or in a squeeze tube. They may even come in a bottle that you have to pour out. Estee Lauder, I see you. But this one comes with a large doe foot applicator, similar to a concealer. It's just oversized, and I actually appreciate this. I didn't know how I would feel about the doe foot applicator, but I ended up liking it because I can just swipe the product on my skin and go from there without having to dispense it on a palette, on the back of my hand. I don't have to navigate any of that. I just use the doe foot applicator. So I feel like this adds a little bit of convenience to applying this foundation. So I like the doe foot applicator. Now, as I mentioned before, you may argue that you're going to contaminate the product by re-dipping that doe foot applicator over and over again and touching your face with it. I don't see a problem, okay? I use concealers with doe foot applicators. I use lip products with doe foot applicators, and I haven't had an issue. These formulations have built-in preservatives that will inhibit the growth of bacteria. So I'm not worried about bacterial growth. I'm not worried about contamination. You're applying this to either bare skin or over your skincare, so I don't foresee an issue. But if it bothers you so much, just make sure you wash your hands and apply it to the back of your hand and pick it up with a brush. Or you can apply it directly to a palette and then pick it up that way. But I actually like the packaging and I like the doe foot applicator. Yeah, I think it's cute, it's modern, it's sleek. As far as purchasing this product, you can pick it up again at Ulta in store or online, and also on the About Face website. And you can get a discount on the About Face website if you want to pick it up there, but you'll just have to navigate the shade range to figure out what shade best matches you. Again, you can check it out in store at Ulta. Again, I have MD2 Olive and D1 Olive, and both shades kind of work for me. Today I am just wearing the D1 Olive shade, and it worked out pretty well. If I were to choose a perfect shade match, I would choose the D1 Olive. So if you use me for shade reference, that's the one I would go with. But I like having both shades because I can mix it out and customize my color. But I think it has a great shade range to choose from. Now we're moving into product and performance. I think the shade range is great. I think it's expansive, and they have various undertones and depth levels to choose from. And I think it is distributed among the shade families pretty well. And they do have really deep shades and then fair shades included. So I feel like they did a good job with the shade range. And for me to find a shade in the medium deep range and then at the start of the deep range, I think gives you a good idea of how the shade range is distributed, because there are rich deep shades after the deep range as well. And I'm the first shade in the deep range. So that should give you an idea of what to expect when selecting your shade. And as far as the application goes, I think this foundation applies and blends beautifully on the skin. It feels very lightweight. It's not a thick, creamy foundation. It is more of a lightweight liquid. It almost feels airy on the skin. It doesn't get cakey. It just lays well on the skin. It kind of becomes one with your skin to give you that seamless finish. And you saw in the wear test that I didn't have any settling of the foundation throughout wear. There wasn't any settling in lines or separation of the foundation once my oil started breaking through. So I feel like the foundation just moves with your skin, which I absolutely appreciate, because no matter what, I'm going to get oily. I have an expressive face, so I'm going to move around. So I can definitely get settling into like my smile lines and my forehead area. And I feel like this foundation just sits really well on the skin. As far as the blurring claims, I don't think it necessarily blurs or smooths the skin. I don't think they actually claim that it blurs the skin, but they say that it smooths the skin. And I don't really see any smoothing. It didn't accentuate any pores, okay? So it didn't make my pores look bigger, and it didn't settle into lines. But as far as it actually smoothing my skin, I don't think it did anything really significant in that arena. But I think it did sit on my skin really well, and it evened out my complexion. Perfect level of medium coverage. It's not high medium, it's a true medium coverage foundation. So you will need concealer in your problematic spots, like if you have hyperpigmentation or dark under eyes, you'll need concealer for that. But it evened out my skin tone. It didn't blank out everything, so my natural skin still shone through, and it's almost second skin. It truly gives you this second skin look. It adds a glow. You saw the glow on my skin. That looks very beautiful. There's no shimmer to it, but it definitely leaves your skin looking hydrated and kind of plump a little bit because of that added glow, which I have to powder. I have to powder it down, so that's the only drawback. If you prefer a matte skin, you're gonna have to powder. And if you're looking for a matte finish, it's not here. It's definitely more of a, I wouldn't even say dewy or glowy finish. I would say it's a more hydrated finish. It definitely looks like a skincare infused foundation. It just looks like your skin is plump and hydrated and nourished. And I actually like the finish of it, even though I powder, but I like how it looked on my skin initially. Like, it looked healthy. And I do want to mention as well, once I washed my face at night, oh my God, my skin felt good. So there's certain foundations and certain makeup that you can wear throughout the day, and once you wash your face, like, you want to scrape your face off because it feels so heavy and crepey. This doesn't feel that way. And once you wash your face, all right, some of those products can make your skin feel dry. This, like, I washed my face, regular face wash. There's nothing extra about my face wash. My skin just felt hydrated. It felt like the foundation left some skincare benefits behind. And that's something that I always notice with a foundation. Once I wash my face, how does it feel after? And this one, oh my God, my skin felt so nourished. It felt so great after washing it off. So I definitely think you're getting some skincare benefits here. So I will give them a tick for that one as well. There's also the sebum control claim that they make, which I'm going to give them a tick for that one too, because the foundation wore pretty well on my oily skin without a primer. Just on its own, it lasted really well. I did get oily on my nose where I would normally get oily, but it didn't break down the pigment. It didn't separate or anything, and all I had to do was blot those oily spots and the foundation would look refreshed, and I appreciate that. And I didn't get as oily as I normally would throughout the day. So I think there is something to be said about that sebum control. And I was able to get a good 6 hours of wear before I felt like, yeah, I definitely need to blot. 4.5 hours in, I would have blotted too. And that's typical for any foundation. But like I said, I didn't get as oily as I normally would. The oil was just around my nose, which is where it usually is. But sometimes I can get really oily right in my forehead, around my mouth, and on my cheek. I didn't really get greasy at all. And like I said, it felt comfortable throughout the day. Are there any other claims that we want to mention? Let's double check. Yeah, I think that's it. It feels good, so I feel the skincare. It did seem to control sebum or decrease my sebum production. It wore well, felt lightweight, comfortable, And yeah, I really liked it. And the skin tone match, I think I found 2 great matches that I could use either shade. And yeah, I enjoyed it. For $22, I think this is a great find, guys. And I feel like if you have dry skin, you'll enjoy it. If you have normal skin, you'll also enjoy it. And if you have normal combination skin, you might want to use a mattifying primer or powder or a combination of both, which is what I do. That's what I did right now. I'm wearing my Gucci primer and I powdered my skin. Not with any mattifying powder, just with my Kosas powder. And it looks good. This is 4 hours in and I haven't gotten greasy or oily. So I definitely give it a thumbs up. I think this one is worth trying out, especially at that price point. You can't go wrong, right? So let me know if you've tried this foundation out or if you're interested in trying it out. I'm excited to hear your thoughts. I will leave links down below where you can pick this up. I will leave the About Face website as well as Ulta. If there's an asterisk next to any of those links, that indicates that it is an affiliate link, which means I will get a small sales commission if you make a purchase through those links. It doesn't change the sale price. It just gives me a kickback for you using my links. So I truly appreciate you using my links since I can put it right back into the content. I will also leave links to my Instagram and Twitter where you can follow me along. And until my next video, I hope this one was helpful. I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.